Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it's profile time again. We're back. The Dean Windows Hall of Fame.
No profiles for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I took the keys with me.
You get weird about it, so we figured it wasn't worth the risk.
I don't get weird about it. You lot just get crap about it.
No, you got weird about it because last time you were away, I did one on Del Piero, and it was the best one, and all the listeners agreed.
And we all had a big party, and then we were celebrating it for ages, and you didn't come.
And Del Piero actually turned up, and teach us well to take free kicks.
Yeah. All right, you forgot that.
We had a cardboard cut out of you in goal.
All right.
Bill Murray was there.
And every one of them went in, you didn't save a single one.
Yeah. Apart from the one I purposely hit in your face.
Yeah, and then your head fell off.
Yeah.
It's Steve Mcmanaman, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, El Maca.
El Maca.
Vamos.
Born on the 11th of Feb 1972.
Oh, just under 5 years after the Summer of Love.
And 3 years before the American involvement in the Vietnam War ended.
Yeah.
There you go.
Is that one staying in now?
What's that?
We're going to have to do that one every
No, don't worry about that. I just thought it was showing the knowledge that I gained while I was out there. Now, Steve McManaman. Oh, you don't really think of him that much, do you? Which is a strange one because he was such a brilliant player.
But you bloody should.
He really should.
Yeah, very much underrated in his day, I think. Or actually, maybe not in his day, but maybe since his day.
Yeah, I think because. Well, I can come on to this. I'm doing a Luke, but his England career perhaps wasn't.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the key part to that, since you brought it up, is that he hardly played at World Cup '98, despite being like PFA Player of the Year or team in the PFA Team of the Year for like 5 seasons in a row or something.
Yeah.
He never got. I think he played about 15 minutes in total.
Yeah.
But again, one of those players that we just didn't know what to do with. The last 20 years of football.
And the really ironic thing about that is he could play all over the place.
Exactly.
Loads of things we can
You can imagine him saying, "Hold on, I can play anywhere. It doesn't matter where you put me.
Yeah.
I'm still pretty good.
You want to keep the ball, dear?
I'm still better than Rob Lee, who's also in the squad.
Steady.
No offence.
Ow. You know where the door is.
You've got to have a bit of industry. Right. Like a few others that went on to play for Liverpool, McManaman was an Everton fan growing up. Point number one. Who am I? He wanted to play for the Toffee Men, but Liverpool apparently had a much better youth setup. So apparently, I think that's quite widely known, certainly back in the day. And it offered more to youngsters, really, gave them more opportunities. So he went there. And he was given the task of cleaning John Barnes' boots.
I thought he went to Liverpool instead of Everton because Liverpool offered him 2 years and Everton only offered him 1.
Yeah, but generally speaking, I think youngsters had more opportunities.
Okay, right.
Quite oddly.
Fair enough. He's cleaning John Barnes' boots, you say?
Yeah.
Nice.
Big man mentored him as well.
Those will test you.
Indeed, they were. Those big boots. He became the first player to appear for England under-21s without any first-team experience. That soon came at the end of 1990. So he was obviously very highly rated.
Yeah.
The next season he was to become a regular in Liverpool's first team, playing 51 games and scoring 10 goals. And he was man of the match in the FA Cup final win against Sunderland that season too.
Yeah, that was the season
under
where,
Souness.
Season they knocked out Pompey in the semi. Boo.
If you sort of look at his record, and you will come to it because at the end his record of medals and stuff is just unsurpassed for an English player. It's
abroad,
incredible. Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Over the next few years, he then became one of the Premier League's most entertaining players with his lovely dribbly runs.
One of my favourite players.
Jinky, yeah, same. Yeah,
drop the shoulder. People just didn't know where to go, left or right. He would ghost past players.
But it's so quick, but so jinky at the same time.
Waddle-esque.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. He was Black Waddle, the master of the defender on his heels, turning one way and the other, not knowing where he is. Yeah.
So he doesn't look like a natural athlete, does he? So spindly. It's like someone's tried to make a man out of twiglets and pass it off as a real man.
Yeah, and succeeded. Yeah,
I remember him with that goal in. Against Celtic in the UEFA Cup.
That's amazing.
Where he starts at right back, he knocks at one side of the defender, runs around the other side. It wasn't even a defender then, would it be? Like the left wing, wasn't it? So he knocks it one side of the player, runs around the other, then just absolutely pegs it, takes on 3 players, and then slots it home.
From on the edge of the box. Yeah, it's a lovely finish in off the post.
I remember watching that goal at the time because I think that game was billed as like Battle of Britain or something like that. And God, man, I was out of my seat for that goal. Unbelievable.
It was superb. But the best bit of that whole thing for me is the first touch. He passes it past the player in question like he's knocking it to a teammate in the training ground.
But he's just seen the space.
So cool. He just knocks it past and then goes, hang on a minute, boom, and he's away. But as you said, Jim, he was sort of pacey but didn't look it.
Yeah.
but he would flipping fly, when he had the ball at his feet. But it's the kind of player that England rarely produce in the modern era.
We say that a lot, though.
Yeah.
In these profiles, we do that a lot. We do produce them. We just don't know what to do with them.
Well, who currently is
There's not that many. I mean, no,
the type of player like Mcmanaman and Waddle, real genuine dribblers who have got great ball control.
No, but I mean, we say this about a variety of different types of players. We said this about Glenn Hoddle as well. It seems that anything that's a little bit, just differentiating from being basically functional, we struggle with.
That's true.
Yeah, fair. I think. I mean, you'd have to really think hard about the last time an English player was produced that was a genuinely world-class attacking midfield / wide player as well. Because McManaman could play on the right and left and through the middle as well.
Joe Cole was the only one who.
Yeah, but he's not the same type as McManaman.
No, but he could have been.
He's more of a traditional number 10 though. He didn't have the pace that McManaman had.
Not true.
He wouldn't turn a player inside out with pace. Joe Cole.
Yeah. And then a drag back. Drag back and like a flick to the left.
My favourite goal that McManaman scored. You may not remember it, probably for the wrong reasons. But it was the season 97-98 when. He scored that volley at Highbury. Unbelievable goal. I don't know why he was captain that game, but I remember having the captain's armband on.
He was made vice captain.
But Ince would have been captain, but he must not
Ince was captain, and McManaman was vice captain when John Barnes had moved on. Yeah. Well, under Roy Evans, he was given a more central role at times, as opposed to being seen solely as a winger. And actually, I think Roy Evans should take a lot of credit for that.
They sort of bit him around, didn't they, at that point?
Yeah, because McManaman, yes, he was put out wide, and he was a good winger. Can't take that away from him. And he played out wide for England, but Roy Evans saw that he could play in the centre as well, drifting around in a real playmaker position, and he was quite talismanic.
Yeah, that season they had Ince and Leonardson behind McManaman, I think.
Yeah.
And it was quite a nice midfield, quite a nicely balanced midfield actually.
He would get loads of assists, McManaman. The only slight criticism people would have is that he didn't score too many, but when he did score, bloody hell, you remember.
It was usually a scoop or a chip, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's still the all-time assist maker for Liverpool.
I think Steven Gerrard surpassed him.
He must have only just done it then. Oh really? Okay, right. I
think so, yeah.
Okay. He had like a.
You think of the amount of players that have played for Liverpool and have played a long time for Liverpool.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
That really is quite something.
Yeah, and that's as well. It was in a time where Liverpool weren't winning as much as they have done in the past. It makes it a little more impressive.
You kind of forget how good that team was, though. They should really have been winning.
The season they came third in the Premier League, and the thing with that is they got knocked out the cups quite early. They were in the UEFA Cup as well. They got knocked out that quite early, and they were decent in the league.
They were entertaining. They were basically just chilled out entertainers.
Well, they won the League Cup in 1995 against Bolton in a match that he dominated, and fans of the Reds still call it the Mcmanaman final. He got 2 great goals that game as well. So it was nice to see him doing it on the big stage as well. 95-96 season, 25 assists he got that season.
That's nuts in a season.
Yeah. And he started every game England played in Euro 96.
Yeah.
And it had a pretty decent tournament, and that summer he was linked to some of Europe's top clubs, and he always,
which was odd then.
But he always said he wanted third ball.
He did. Yeah. He was, as you said, Luke, he was included in England's World Cup '98 squad, but only played a tiny little bit against Colombia.
Came on with like 15 minutes left or something. I think that England obviously had a good amount of players there, and they're unlucky to go out so early against the Argentinian side, which could have gone either way. But I remember at the time being annoyed that he didn't play more. Yeah. Because he was really good the season before that.
But Hoddle played a 3-5-2.
Right, yeah.
And he's not going to play in wing back.
That's the problem, yeah. That was the problem.
And the middle three, he had Ince, Batty
and
Scholes, and then he brought in Beckham for Batty. So it's Ince, Beckham, and Scholes.
And Anderton was there on the right and stuff.
And Lasso on the left.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Yeah, you can't fit everyone in, but I mean, I thought that he did well enough in that season.
Yeah. But to only make one substitute appearance is in itself strange.
Because he's a player you'd probably bring on to change the game, because they lost to Romania, didn't they? And you think they could have used him then.
They brought Michael Owen on
instead. That's right. Yeah.
After the World Cup, McManaman expressed his desire to play abroad, I think in the media, or certainly got out, and this started a little bit of a bad time for McManaman on and off the pitch, because the lad from Liverpool, a lot of the fans turned against him for wanting to leave, and then of course he signed for Real Madrid.
Well, he ran his contract down, didn't he?
He did run his contract. He was a Bosman.
He kept saying things like, from memory, he kept saying stuff like, I'm not thinking about my contract yet, and a lot, obviously not all of them, but a few Liverpool fans were pretty annoyed with him from what I remember. I mean,
he wants to leave.
Well, I mean, I thought he
was going to sign for Barca, wasn't he? Wasn't he? Like,
there was 12 million.
Similar to your action about Van Persie, actually, Jimmy.
Yeah. No, there's the Barcelona thing was weird because apparently he actually went over to Spain and they just I don't think they even turned up to meet him or something. They did it
it was an odd one.
They did it as sort of like a bluff as part of their deal to try and sign Rivaldo.
Yeah, that's
sorry,
right.
to sort of we're looking at McManaman as well.
Yeah. He also almost went to Juve, I think.
That's right. Juve were
he turned them down. Yeah,
they were interested. I thought though, I mean, but there was a lot going on with McManaman. He did have some injuries. And around that time, his mother tragically died of cancer as well. So it was a very difficult time for him. But he reacted to the fans booing by saying, that's understandable. When I came off the other day, I knew the reaction there was going to be difficult. But I think if they put themselves in the same predicament, and the fact that I have been at Liverpool for 12 years and I would like to test myself in a foreign country, that's understandable.
Yeah, that's what I mean when I say he wants to leave. It's fair enough. He's done a lot for the club.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it did end well between Liverpool and McManaman. A couple of goals in his last few matches of the season, that helped. And in his final appearance for the club, he provided a goal for Karl-Heinz Riedler, and at the end was given a standing ovation and a lap of honour around Anfield.
Karl-Heinz Riedler.
Oh, yeah. And then a two-row scored farewell at the entrance of the players' tunnel. So he left well.
And that was the end of his career, wasn't it? He sort of didn't do much after that.
Steve McManaman. And then he went off to Madrid.
El Maca.
For the 99-2000 season. Only the second Englishman at the time to have played for the club after Laurie Cunningham had played years earlier. And when he joined the club, all was not well. There was a little bit of dissatisfaction in the dressing room.
At Real Madrid?
You wouldn't believe it, Jim. Yeah. Even back then.
Figo was smashing plasma screens.
I don't think Figo was there, actually, when they signed.
This was pre-go.
Oh, okay.
Pre-go. Like it, Jim. So he started playing that season, and he really did slot in quite well to the whole thing, the culture. He was soon doing well with the language and all that. And at the end of that season, he won the Champions League, scoring in the final, and scooped the Man of the Match award. It was glorious, wasn't it, to see him saw that little scissor volley.
It was a nice goal. What I did, the thing, because Real Madrid played Valencia that far, didn't they? And it was in France. I think it was in Paris or something.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, and but they both wore. Real Madrid wore black and Valencia wore orange. Is that because they both wear white? So they both had to wear their away kit.
Possibly.
So there was no favouritism.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just always wondered about that. Really, it was a great game anyway, and McManaman was amazing. He was really good.
He was
ran the show,
wasn't he? He really became a cult hero amongst the Real Madrid fans. I remember just seeing some of the reports, and he scored that incredible volley in the Bernabeu. Was it against Oviedo? Where he was that a bit of a scissor as well, where he smashed it into the top corner, and you just thought, oh my goodness, he's having a great time.
He scored against Barca in the Clasico as well.
That was in the Champions League semi-final.
That's right, yeah.
At the Camp Nou, to make it 2-0, he dinked it over.
I remember this is the Real Madrid Valencia final, just thinking Redondo, McManaman, and Raul the same team. I'm having that.
Yeah,
because Raul played deep, and Anelka was up front with Morientes. Yeah.
Did Anelka? Oh no, was it?
No, it was Anelka and Morientes with Raul just behind, and Maca and Redondo. Yeah.
Yeah, because Maca was played more central at times.
Yeah,
he was. And then, or if he wasn't, he had Roberto Carlos behind him sometimes on the left.
Yeah.
Don't worry about defending, son.
Yeah,
because I'm not going to.
Yeah. Sorry, Roberto, are you going to cover as a defence league? Okay.
What? Roberto, sorry, I can't hear you behind my legs.
Yeah. You're in front of me again.
Yeah.
Overlapping.
Oi, there's a massive gap. Just enjoy it. It's only football.
Get in me slipstream.
It's all right. They won't exploit that. Hierro will sweep it up.
And he did.
There's a big gap behind me, Roberto. Yeah, I thought that when I first started, but don't worry about it. You get used to it.
Nobody will say anything.
Yeah.
If you are a professional footballer in England listening to this, go abroad because you will have a good time. Oh dear. So
unless you're Jonathan Woodgate,
but he tried.
Yeah, he did try.
They like
even he eventually had a good time.
He was popular. Yeah.
Leave off.
All right. Sorry about that.
Don't go now. Only after a season in Madrid, Florentino Perez turned up and threatened to ruin everything for Steve McManaman. Figo was brought in, and they sold Redondo, who McManaman complimented so well.
Do you remember that Redondo little heel turn against United?
Which McManaman played, didn't they?
Beauty.
When Ronaldo scored. No, that was Raul.
Raul scored a couple, a few years before that.
And a number of the players were sold. And McManaman was told that he was surplus to requirements.
Didn't like Zidane sort of said, why are we getting rid of him? This is ridiculous.
I think that may have been a touch later.
I think McManaman went, I'll be the judge of that.
Well, he was told, we don't need your pal.
Just when Beckham
but
came
this
in,
was
wasn't
straight away. No, like this was immediately.
No, this
after
was
they won the Champions League.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, this is 2000, 2001.
Oh, right, okay, I thought it was when he was out the sorry, I thought
Yeah, no, that's
much
the
going
count.
on at Madrid. Just no one knew who was in charge and what was going on.
Exactly, and Perez just wanted these big names, and the club was heavily in debt. Of course, bringing in Figo for a world record transfer fee is going to make sure that stays the same. And McManaman, sorry mate, we don't need you, despite being man of the match in the Champions League final. But McManaman said no, he wanted to fight for his place, and he certainly did. Apparently Real Madrid accepted a bid from Middlesbrough, then Chelsea for McManaman. But he didn't want to go, and Sir Alex Ferguson was sniffing around him as well. So there was enough interest from big clubs and Middlesbrough
and Chelsea back then.
Well, that's true. Well, they were becoming, weren't they? But he wanted to stay in Spain, perhaps because he loved the lifestyle. He was getting a lot of money, but he enjoyed his football there, and he was doing very well. And the fans loved him, and the fans really wanted him to stay, and they made that clear.
Yeah, one of the really odd things the fans loved about him is that they think he looks like Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, that's a strange.
Yeah, it's one of the sort of.
He does a bit.
Yeah,
they're not great with a lookalike in Spain. It took them ages to realise that Sergio Ramos was Val Kilmer.
Yeah,
but ages.
How many years behind you?
Poor, isn't it?
There's nothing better than seeing McManaman nowadays on Spanish television speaking Spanish, though, because he's sort of spacing like this.
Yeah, his Spanish isn't that good. No, I'm not having a go, but it's not amazing.
How's your Spanish?
It's better than me. Yeah, I'll give him 8 out of 10, and I'll give myself probably at 7.5. So,
but only a couple of months into the season, McManaman had won the manager over, and he was back in the team. And in his second season at Madrid, he did very well indeed, and they won La Liga. The 28th La Liga crown for Real Madrid, so all smiles at the end of the season. Every year though he was at Madrid, his playing time was sort of slightly reduced, and the Galactico policy was a lot to do with that. This time Zidane was in, Ronaldo was there.
There was always that threat hanging over him that, like, immediately from after his first season, that he might soon be moved on against his will, or that they would try and do that. And it's a shame.
That's right, yeah. I do quite like this, that he got on well with everybody at the club, and which manager? One of the managers there said McManaman was one of the most important players because he kept everybody together in that squad. And I think was it Johan Cruyff said that McManaman was the most useful player in that Galactico period because he was, as Cruyff put it, everyone's best partner on the pitch.
Right, okay.
He complimented so many people.
Well, he sort of developed, not that he didn't have it at Liverpool, but it became more apparent that he had such a high work rate.
That's right, yeah.
And that's something that team was accused of lacking sometimes.
I mean, McManaman was said to have a high work rate. It's quite funny, isn't it, really? Because in England we would...
You don't really think of him as being that sort of player.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, that's very true.
Because he did the dentist chair. See,
the dentist chair. There was that, wasn't there? I do quite
if
like.
He's working hard. It's because he's drunk.
Yeah.
I do quite like that. His golf buddies were Luis Figo and Ronaldo.
Not bad.
Imagine McManaman going rounds of golf with those two. He spoke really, really fondly of Big Ronaldo as well, as anybody would. Anybody would.
What's not to like?
Well, that's what I say. But what I love about Ronaldo is anybody
PSG legend.
Yeah, is anybody who talks about him, and one or two people who I know who have kind of met him briefly and know a bit about him in person. He is that guy, the really friendly guy who just invites everybody back to his house. Apparently McManaman was like, if you're in a restaurant having dinner, the next thing there's 20-30 people around the table, he's just like, hey, everyone get involved, as he said, he had this amazing aura around him, and I absolutely love that about the big man. But it's McManaman's profile.
Yeah,
Ronaldo got this whole thing underway. Dean went to Hall of Fame, so you can blame him.
Invited everyone in.
Still doing it. It's only meant to be a feature for 1 week.
So even with these big players coming in, McManaman still said, no, I wanted to stay and fight for my place, and he still got some good playing time, and it was around that time as well where he scored that goal against Barcelona at the Camp Nou, which was such an important goal, and it's such an important result because to win away, it was I think the first time that they'd won at the Camp Nou since the early 90s, and in the semi-final of the Champions League. It's absolutely magnificent stuff for them. And he did come on in the final at Hampden Park when they beat Bayer Leverkusen 2-1. So he's, I think he was the first Englishman to win 2 European Cups,
I think he's certainly the first Englishman to win a Euro.
No, sorry, that's ridiculous. The first Englishman to win it with a foreign side.
Correct. Yeah.
Forgive me. Around that time as well. Before that, actually, he played at Euro 2000 under Kevin Keegan, scored against Portugal in the opening game, but England didn't really do too well. And it was in the early noughties. His England career was kind of cut short by Sven-Goran Eriksson.
Boo.
He got 37 caps for England. And let's talk about his England career. I mean, did he do it? Did he not?
He was excellent in Euro 96.
Yeah,
he really stood out.
He got his games, didn't he? I guess.
Yeah.
I think it's, as we've just sort of talked about already. Really, the World Cup 98 thing was unfortunate because England played some decent stuff, and you couldn't really say that England could have done an awful lot better in that tournament. They were unlucky to be drawn. I mean, the Romania game was the key. I mean, they came second in the group. They played Argentina, who were a good side, and that could have gone either way. That was one of the games of the tournament. Mcmanaman couldn't get in the team because of the formation and the other players around. So, and then by the time he had moved abroad, because he went to Real Madrid the year after that, didn't he? So maybe he wouldn't have been quite as front of mind. But 37 caps probably isn't a testament to his ability, but he was quite patchy for England, I thought.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Which is perhaps one of the reasons why maybe we don't remember him that much.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. And people say the same against John Barnes, the man whose boots he used to clean.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'd say that about Wayne Rooney.
Yeah, I would agree with that probably. Yeah, I'd probably agree with that as well. So
there you go, you see.
England aren't that good, basically.
But Rob Lee put a shift in every now and
it's
then.
not difficult to see why McManaman did well at Real Madrid with the players around him there compared to England. I mean, simple as that.
Yes, right. That is correct. And in his last year at Real Madrid, he did appear in the game at Old Trafford where they lost 4-3, but Ronaldo scored that hat-trick.
Yeah.
It was always good to see McManaman playing for Real Madrid in Europe.
Yeah. That was great stuff,
against English opposition. But at that time, his performances or his game time was becoming less and less, and then people started to say, "Is he just hanging around because he was getting an astronomical wage and so on and so forth?" And then David Beckham signed, and that really was the final straw, I suppose you could say. Although he did help Beckham settle in quite quickly, but he soon.
When you've become a sort of holiday rep, it's time to move on.
I think so. And he did. He went to Manchester City. Didn't do that great there. It was really
I remember Man City fans being really excited about it. He didn't really sort of deliver, did he?
Yeah, no, he never. It was a shame actually, and I think that again suggested that the Madrid lifestyle. I mean, if you're not playing for Real Madrid, it's not the end of the world, is it? If you're hanging around Madrid in the sunshine and whatnot.
I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, exactly. So
sit through Keegan's team talks in Manchester. To be fair,
I imagine they'd be really entertaining.
Yeah. So he kind of wound down his playing career at Manchester City. But it wasn't all doom and gloom. Not that long ago for McManaman. In 2006, for example, he joined the production for the film Goal 2, Living the Dream.
He did. He did a much better turn than Alan Shearer did in the first film.
What do you think?
Yeah, it was him. I think Ronaldo was in there.
No Collingwood.
Yeah, indeed. But I'll leave with a quote from the great Sir Stanley Matthews, who said after the Liverpool-Bolton game in the 1995 League Cup final, Sir Stanley Matthews simply said, "He reminds me of when I was playing."
There you go.
There he goes. Stephen Banner into the Demon Hall of Fame.
El Maca, vamos.